Welcome back to your geography class. Hope you all have finished going through the portion that was discussed in the previous session and have already finished with the assignment that was given to you. Today, we shall continue with the remaining portions of the same chapter, tourism in Switzerland. So today we shall start with Zurich. Now, Zurich is the largest city of Switzerland. Zurich is also a very important and the largest transportation hub of Switzerland. Now, what is a hub? A hub is a center. So, Zurich is the transportation center, the transportation hub of Switzerland. Zurich is also very famous for two very beautiful museums, just like Bern. How Bern was famous for two museums, in the same way, Zurich is famous for two beautiful museums, the Kunsthaus Zurich and the Reichsberg Museum. Okay, Kunsthaus Zurich and Reichsberg Museum. These museums contain relics all the way from the past, from the Middle Ages to the present age. Then Zurich is again famous for the Zurich Zoo. The Zurich Zoo is a very popular tourist spot for families. Next, moving to Rhine Falls. The Rhine Falls are the largest plain waterfalls of Europe. They are almost 150 meters high, and the best time to visit the Rhine Falls is between June and July. Next, moving to the Swiss National Park, yet another very important tourist attraction of Switzerland. Now, the Swiss National Park was founded in 1914 and it is located in the Engadin Valley. It is one of the oldest reserves of the Alp mountains. The major animals that are found in this reserve are marmots, red deer, then we have chamois, ibex, fox, and almost hundreds of species of different birds that are found in this Swiss National Park. So with this, we come to an end of the list of tourist spots of Switzerland. Let's have a little recap of what we have studied so far, especially the tourist spots. We started with Jungfrau then we went to Interlaken, then Lake Geneva, and then Bern. Today, we studied about Zurich, the Rhine Falls, and the Swiss National Park. So these are the major tourist attractions of Switzerland. Now it's time to see what the connectivity of Switzerland is like, as in how Switzerland is connected to the interiors of Europe and how Switzerland is connected with the rest of the world. So if you see, Switzerland is connected by airways with the rest of the world, while within Europe we have Switzerland is connected by roadways, railways and seaways. So this is how extensively Switzerland is connected with Europe and the rest of the world. Now it's time to move to the last and the most important part of this chapter, the role of Swiss tourism in GDP. Now, what is GDP? GDP is the monetary value of all the finished products, goods and services that are created within the country. Now, GDP is a measure by which we can estimate as to how big an economy is, what is the size of the economy of that country. So let's read from your book. Please take page number 90. You will find the role of Swiss tourism in GDP. First one, what's tourism? Tourism refers to the activity of visitors taking a trip to a destination outside the usual environment, especially for leisure and other personal activities. I would like you to please underline this line because this is very important. I already mentioned to you that Switzerland is the most important tourist attraction of Europe. So it can be defined as a driver of economic growth. It instigates economic growth by bringing in tourists. So according to our data, please underline this line also. According to the data of the year 2011, tourism accounted for an estimate of 2.9% of Switzerland's GDP. How much? 2.9%. So this GDP, it stimulates economic growth in the following ways. Please pay very good attention to this. It stimulates economic growth in the following ways. So what are the ways? Number one, it generates income. Okay, by generating income. Second one, by providing employment opportunities to people. Third one, by doing investment. And the fourth one, by enhancing export. Okay, these are the four major, very important points as to what stimulates the economic growth of a country. Other than that, it is also very helpful in preservation of cultural heritage. Okay, preservation of cultural heritage, all that olden relics that you had are all preserved within the country. It also improves the infrastructure and the local community facilities, thus making the country even more developed. So with this, we come to an end of this chapter. Hope you've understood whatever has been explained to you. And if not, you are free to ask any of the doubts and queries that you have. The related assignments will be sent to you on the school website, so please check that out as well. And I hope you finish all those assignments in the geography notebook like you've been doing for the past so many days. So till then, stay home, stay safe, and take care. Bye-bye.